this. You have big interest of seeing my last video about MSI Center and Mystic Light probably. I'm not sure if you are aware of this issue, but I have made really big research about the issue. So, if you're basically having the AMD GPU from the MSI, for the example, or if you have some graphics cards, really brands, not necessarily MSI, and MSI motherboard, and you decide to use Mystic Light to control your RGB or ARGB, you are basically forced to use MSI Center. As you probably know, the I'm sorry, English is not my native language. B550 and X670 and 570 are limited to Mystic Light that can be installed only through the MSI Center. That's something that I don't know if it's listed, but as I lastly checked, Mystic Light, as I lastly checked, there was no mention that it requires MSI Center. And probably they don't mention it. Why don't they mention it, you might ask? Probably it's because of its bloatware. As you might know, there are some other RGB software out there on the market, and some of them are free, 100% free. You can make a donation if you want, but it's not necessary to get software to work. From the MSI forum, I can understand that most of the users are installing the MSI Center only for the Mystic Light. And for most of the time, other RGB software didn't support the AMD GPUs. That's the only way to control RGB for most users. They was using Mystic Light. But that has ended. I can assure you, this has ended. I have now fully populated RGB devices and was really mad. I have to control this bullcrap of the software. So I tried this little guy. And I am not sure if the stable version of the software is supporting AMD GPU, but this version, Pipeline Experimental, is supporting AMD GPU. This was known downside of the OpenRGB, that this software wasn't supporting AMD. And users who had AMD GPU was forced to use Mystic Light. What was doing Mystic Light? Mystic Light was known, and I have ticket from the MSI support. They have acknowledged my issue. They have told me to reinstall drivers and all that stuff. But in the end, they confirmed this is resetting zero RPM feature, the fan curve, and the power limit. You didn't have to even install Mystic Light inside MSI Center, in the fact. You could only use MSI Center and these settings was messed. So, if you downloaded the OpenRGB, it's small software, it should look maybe not like that. The whole scheme is white. But first time you launch it, you should launch it as administrator to detect both RAM sticks if you have maybe 2 or all RAM sticks you have used. This is forced by the SM bus driver. As you can see, it detects my AMD GPU, even my sound card and the motherboard. This is fully working right now, but I was a little confused by the start, as this isn't such intuitive as MSI Mystic Light. So you have to choose, you can select the skin right there. You have to set that OpenRGB will load with the system. This is starting with the login and will start minimized. These two options. You can also check this, but for me there is no difference between default SM bus or the AMD SM bus. You can mark these 3 options, but it's not this option, minimize on close, is very useful. But most important features, settings, is this too. So basically, when you launch this as admin, you can later launch it normally, not necessarily as admin. And if you set your preferred color of the RGB, you have to choose to save to device, this option here, save to device. Then select the authors, choose the color, you can here choose the effect, save to device. After you set all your devices, you have to save to profile as, and you put any name of this profile. And then, as you can see, I have 2 profiles. And then you want to set the profile that software will load upon launch. I have one of the most problematic RAM sticks. It's G-Skill Trident Z Neo for the AMD. And I had problems that all of my RGB was starting with the default rainbow scheme. And all I had to do was the save to device and save profile. That's it. That's all you need to do. And as you can see, I don't use anymore MSI Mystic Light. My AMD settings are properly saved. There is no reset. I don't know, not sure if this is the fault of the MSI Center, but also I don't have any more blue screens. I had 2 blue screens. Once I chose to use, that was 1.0.59 probably, and up to the newest version of the MSI Center, that's 1.0, probably 61. I had 2 blue screens once I used MSI Center. I'm not sure this is even legal because I'm not sure. I don't know what to start. MSI Center is bloatware. We don't have any problem with disagreeing or agreeing with that. This is collecting information about user, and this is done very, very bad. Probably you don't know about it. You can enter to the settings in the right top corner, and you can notice it's collect data. It's ticked. That option is ticked. What is not cool, if you want to untick this option, unmark it, you will get warning that some of the features might not work correctly if you disable data collection. This is just making user little, this is just not cool. You can't argue with it. And whatever, if you mark this or unmark this, there is always problems with the fan control settings and power limit. This doesn't matter if you got this marked or unmarked. So I have no idea how the software that was just a center of, I don't know, just a big sandbox that you can build many other applications that MSI delivers, can be so intrusive to the GPU settings and GPU driver. However, this was not happening with the MSI Afterburner, which is rather strange. But I have in the AMD driver very useful options like profiles for the games and the applications, and without this whole panel, even with the minimal installation option, this wasn't available. So I'd rather to use the official software for the AMD card than some application which couldn't do much more than this software. So if you're having problems with the MSI Center, if you're having AMD GPU and you are mad that your settings aren't saved properly and are resetting with every reboot of the system, check out the OpenRGB. This is really I have used this software about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and it wasn't very satisfying or intuitive. It wasn't good. Now I'm not sure when they introduced the AMD GPUs support, but if you I'm not sure if they updated their website. Supported device. I know they have introduced the support for the 6000 series as a whole. 6000 you have to name it in the hundreds. 6900 XT and 6800 XT. 6700 XT, all that GPUs are now supported. Where are the graphics cards? AMD Radeon, yes, you can use it. And what's very strange to me, I don't know how the AMD GPUs are doing this. You, in case just of the GPU, you don't have to save to device, because this is all colors you change here are changing in the real time. You can see them right on your side as you look at the GPU. You don't have to use the save to device. This is all happen in real time, and once you close the open RGB, it just stays. Not sure how they make it, but it just works. They have, as you can see, updated this. So be aware that you're no more forced to use the Mystic Light, and don't get wrong if you open the software first time and you see what I see. Just don't get mad about it. It might not work the first time, but it will start working properly. I can promise you. I'm not sure about the signal RGB. Signal RGB probably don't support AMD GPU, but this is the software I have used only one time. Yes, they don't support AMD at all. But forget about that. You have OpenRGB. You're no more forced to use the MSI software. So thanks for watching. Stay calm, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.